And what I'm going to tell you is this, is that you don't want to get rid of negative thinking, because it wouldn't exist if it wasn't valuable. It wouldn't be a part of your life if it wasn't needed. It wouldn't be part of your brain and your biology if it wasn't necessary for you to learn and grow and adapt. Are you a negative thinker that's constantly beating yourself up? Are you constantly saying to yourself, man, I just can't get out of my negative thoughts? Are you saying to yourself, like, I can't get positive ever in my life? Look, most people want to stop their negative thinking, and I get it because it doesn't feel that great. But the question is not to get rid of it. The question to ask yourself is, why do you have it? So often we don't think about what we think about. We don't ask the questions to think, why do we think this way? And I didn't either for many years. And I say this to you not from an ivory tower, but someone who actually has gone through that myself. Right? I remember during a time in my life where I thought negative all the time. And I said, I got to get rid of this negative thinking. I got to get rid of this negative thinking. And what I'm going to tell you is this, is that you don't want to get rid of negative thinking, because it wouldn't exist if it wasn't valuable. It wouldn't be a part of your life if it wasn't needed. It wouldn't be part of your brain and your biology if it wasn't necessary for you to learn and grow and adapt. Science is now showing us that depression is actually a gift to get us back to regulation, to move our life back forward. And we know this. So negative thinking has to follow that same path. See, the answer to negative thinking is not to remove it. It's to understand it. I'm Dr. Alok Trivedi. I want to welcome you to this because I'd like to share with you the science and understand the power of negative thinking. Because negative thinking can be and will be a super valuable tool that we'll use for the rest of our evolutionary life, because negative thinking is what keeps us alive. And our brain is not built for positivity. Our brain is not built for feeling good all the time. And everyone knows that, okay, you avoid pain and move towards pleasure. I get that. But you do that at the same time making sure that you don't cause yourself more chaos. Because the brain is built on survival, or what I like to say, protection. It's going to protect yourself first. So the question to ask yourself is, what is this negative thinking protecting me from? What's it protecting me from? What's it stopping me from doing? Why is it here? Why does it exist? If it has to be here, it has to be for a reason. It can't be arbitrary. So I wonder what it's trying to teach me, what it's trying to give me. And here's what happens when you ask these quality questions. What's going to happen is the answers and the intuition will start to show you what the answers are. And you'll see that the cortisol levels that are up when you're in negative thinking will start to change. And the balance will start to kick in. And you'll move from a sympathetic, what's called a stressful state, into much more of a calm or a parasympathetic state. And your body and your physiology and your hormones will start to balance and regulate. The questions you ask will change the way that you think. And the way that you think will determine what actions, habits, and behaviors you take. So the answer to your life is not to remove positive thinking or remove negative thinking. It's to become a high-performance thinker and know why you think the way that you do. In this video that I've shot with you, I'd like for you to watch why negative thinking causes more chaos, more controversy, and more challenge for people, so that you can understand how it creates more chaos versus understanding to use it as your feedback so that you can get more out of your life. Become a high-performance thinker. Understand the tools that you need to take for your life to live life at the next level. I'll see you guys in another video. Check out the clip. I'm Dr. Alok. Thanks a lot, guys. Anyone in this room ever tried to be happy all the time? Let's be real. And how the fuck is that working out for you, Leslie? Being happy all the time creates delusions. And nobody's ever happy all the time. And what you do is you chase this delusion of happiness, thinking that you're going to be happy. But when I dig down into your life and I say what's real, you realize there's a lot of sadness. Right now, we live in a country right now that is more depressed than ever. Suicide is off the charts more than ever. And we can blame COVID, but it's not COVID. We can blame is it that we have a lack of prescription medication? Right? How did people think without drugs? They actually used their brain. Pete, I want you to think about this, right? How do you think without taking drugs? 40% of the women, this study is a little bit old, but 40% of the women between the ages of 23 and 56 are on some sort of antipsychotropic medication. Some sort of antipsychotropic medication. That's a lot of people. That means almost 65 million women are on some sort of antipsychotropic drugs, controlling the way that they think. Because what we've been doing has been functioning on the actual symptoms, never the cause. We've been functioning on the symptoms. We'd sit and say, let's go after the results. And one of the results that we have to chase is the result of happiness. We've got to feel happy all the time. And what I can tell you is that chasing happiness is what breeds the room of sadness. Chasing happiness breeds the chaos of sadness. And you can't, in essence, continue to chase happiness. It keeps you stuck in that space. Or the idea that we're always supposed to feel good. You'll hear me talk about this a lot. There's three myths of the masses. There's three things that control your mind more than anything else. The myth of wealth and money, the myth of relationships, and the myth of health. I was talking to a wealthy individual one time. We were in the Dominican, actually. And I got invited to this unique mastermind. And I asked this one wealthy guy, he's worth probably about $25 million. And I wasn't at that time. And I said, hey, look, I was probably 29, 30 years old at the time. I was a young guy, but I was hungry. I was moving and I was building my business, building my life. And I said to him, can I pick your brain for about 20 minutes? I just have some questions on building wealth and understanding wealth. Most people don't know this. I've actually interviewed over 300 people who are worth over $10 million in their lifetime, which is quite a significant, it's not a small study. And there's certain fashions, certain things that people do inside of that. And there's certain things that I took from it and what they do and certain other factors inside of it that they don't do. It's very interesting. And I'll share those with you this week inside that. And one of the things that this guy said, so we're sitting there, I asked him questions, and he was brilliant. Like I literally just went, so I wrote down all my questions, and I sat there. And I asked him questions. And I wrote the answers, right? A question for you guys. If you ever get the opportunity to sit down with someone who has more money than you do you ever go unprepared? Never. Never, ever, ever, ever. In case you missed it, ever. In case you forgot what I said, ever. Do that. Never. Because their time is valuable. And if they're going to give you their time, you better come prepared. You better respect that time inside. So that's what I was taught this at a very young age. In my early 20s, someone asked me, said that's what you do. I said, okay, that's what I'll do. I was pretty astute. I was going to do that anyway. So I sit down and I ask all these questions. And one of the questions I asked him, I said, how do you look at the world? And he said, what do you mean by that? I said, how do you view the world? How do you view business? How do you view the world? How do you view everything inside of it? And he said, it's a broad question. I said, I know it is. It's kind of vague. He said, so I'll give you a vague answer and then I'll specify. Okay, so here's what he says to me. He says, I look at the world like an opportunity. It's really interesting what he said to me. This guy was worth $25 million. He said, I look at the world like it's an opportunity. And everything's an opportunity. But I get to choose which opportunities I want. And I thought about that. I was like, that's fucking brilliant. You really stop there? That's fucking brilliant. Everything is an opportunity, but he gets to choose at certain points of what that he wants those opportunities to be. Now, in the beginning, sometimes in our worlds, and as in the idea, we'll call it an ideapreneur, right? We'll coin that term. An ideapreneur, a propreneur, and an entrepreneur. Those are the three stages we're working with. I just coined the term, okay? Ideapreneur, propreneur, and entrepreneur. Now, if you're in the ideapreneur phase, you're looking at it and saying, hey, look, you know what? I have this idea, but you have to listen you're listening to everybody inside of this. Because everything is an opportunity. And the propreneur phase, everything's an opportunity. And in the entrepreneur phase, everything's an opportunity. But here's the interesting thing. Is it maybe that all the things out there are not 100% true to you. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not there. But it's an opportunity to step back and get out of your pride and listen and learn. Would that make sense? It's just an opportunity to take a step back and just sit there. You know what? Let me assess this. Because maybe there's something here that I can pick up one nugget, one idea, one little thing that can shift my life. One of my first mentors, I was 21 years old. And I went to a training. I was invited to a training, 21 years, yeah. And it was a really group of very successful doctors, and I was invited to it. And this doctor He became my trainer, my coach. You know, he taught me a lot, brilliant things. He taught me about my life and business and all, and just generally. But he'd smack me around a little bit, and he'd say, "You just got to learn one thing." I said, "What's that one thing?" He said, "No, dipshit. You just got to learn one thing." I said, "Okay, so what's the one thing?" He said, No. You just have to learn one thing." I said, "I don't get it. What's the one thing?" He said, "You're missing the point." He said, "You don't have to figure out that one thing." He goes, "You have to be open enough to learn the one thing." And he goes, "You get the one thing, and then you build on that." I said, but what about A, B, C, D, E, F, G? He said, No. Just get A. Just get A. And I thought, shit. But B and C and D and E and F, and he's like, no. He said, that's all fear. That you need to control all of that. And all that is going to change once you get A. Hey guys, if you like that video, click on the link over here and you're going to love the next video.